So when it all starts feeling a bit overwhelming, when you know you've got loads of different meals to cook or you've got loads of food to prep, the first thing you can do is just get started, okay? So don't think about what meals you have to cook or anything like that. Don't think of the end result, just start, okay? So if you have gone to the supermarket and you've bought all this veg, just start washing and prepping the veg, okay? Because the veg, if it's not prepped and ready to go in your fridge, it's one of the first things to just get left to the side and to rot and just get thrown into the bin, basically. I know because I have done it loads of times. So we want to avoid that. So the first thing you do is just start washing your veg and prepping it, okay? So I'm just going to chop up all the veg, okay? And then I'm going to just take it from there, all right? I'm going to get started on the actual cooking. So I'm going to use this steamer here, which is so handy. I'm going to get this started now so that I can be cooking the veg as I'm prepping it. So like when you're cooking, you can see that like your tasks actually just flow. So like you'll start one task. So like I started just washing the veg. I haven't even started chopping it or anything yet, but I've already moved on to like thinking about cooking the veg. So that's how it just flows nicely. Once you just get started, it then, you know, you can see what you're doing, okay? If you haven't started at all and you're just sitting there thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? It's very hard to actually do it when you're, or it's very hard to think about it when you're actually not doing it, right? So once you start, it just flows from there. So like I was there thinking, okay, I need to do all this meal prep. I made a start and now I'm thinking, you know, the next step ahead already. That water is heating now while I'm prepping the veg, so it'll be good and hot and ready for steaming once I have the veg ready. This spinach now is washed and ready to go, so I'm just going to cover this and I'm going to keep it in the fridge, and this is going to be very handy to just grab, and you can have it raw with any meal or you can just throw it into a stir fry at the end or an omelette. Two steamers, so I'm going to get the two of them on now because I am cooking loads. So I'm just going to chop all of these in half and then I'm going to slice them all up. Tender stem broccoli is cooked. I'm just going to check the broccoli underneath. Yeah, they're both cooked. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these here now. So a trick for when you're prepping broccoli is to chill it straight away, okay? So it's okay if you're eating it straight away, obviously you're not going to chill it, but if you plan on having it in other meals, so you're prepping it in advance, you want it chilled fully, okay? That's going to keep the green colour. If I just put this straight into containers now, it's going to go yellow, okay? So we want to keep it nice and green. So we want to chill it down quickly, as quickly as we can. I'm going to do the same here for the tender stem broccoli. We want to make sure it's fully covered. So this is still hot now, so we need to leave that cold water. Just turn it down a bit so it's not up too high, and just leave that drain away there and leave it all chilled down fully, and then we're going to strain it. I now have space in the steamer where the broccoli was, so I'm going to put in some sugar snaps and some Mons too. So another tip, if you have small bits of broccoli here like this coming out, and just rest a sieve on top there, and that'll keep everything down, because this is my least favourite job, so I keep doing other things. But I needed to look after that broccoli before I went into this. So I'm literally just going to chop all of these peppers into small little pieces, because I'm going to use a lot of these for spaghetti bolognese. It's a dish that I absolutely love, and I have that on my rest day, so I absolutely love it. It's just a real warming dish, and I put smoked paprika in it and fresh garlic, and I have the pasta, and it's just really, really nice. So I'm going to just chop these. When I'm cooking the spaghetti, I will dice these up even finer again, but I'm just doing this now just to get, you know, one step ahead, okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So you don't have to be doing everything perfectly in the beginning. Once you just make some kind of a start with the veg prep, and you know that you have something, you know, even half ready in the fridge, that's enough, okay? So that's why I'm just doing this now, because I haven't figured out exactly how many spaghetti bolognese I'm going to be cooking or anything yet today, okay? So I'm literally just, you know, winging a lot of this here now at the moment, and that's perfectly fine once I'm just getting the job done. So the majority of the meals that I'll be cooking, I will be cooking them for Mike and Ryan as well. So we do eat, you know, the majority of our meals are very similar, but sometimes we might eat different meals, and I will cook and prep my own meals, and I will actually cook meals for Mike and Ryan as well. If I'm having something that's already made in the fridge, you know, I'm not kind of too fussy there about us all having to eat the same thing and all of that, because I have practiced this for so long that I'm used to being able to prep things and having things organised, so that I can actually cook different meals if people want different things. So of course, you know, if you have a bigger family and you've got a whole family and you have to cook all the same thing, you can do that as well, you know, 100%. There's no issue there with that. You just cook the same thing for everybody. So people think that you know, you can't be on plan and cook for your whole family as well at the same time. You definitely can. You just have to get clever with it, and you have to be well prepped and have an organised fridge, and you actually have to plan your meals. So if you're cooking for yourself and for all the family as well while on plan, you still have to plan out and prep the meals no matter what. So it just means you're doing it in a larger amount basically. So what I would do is I would take my quantities, and I would use those figures then to cook in bulk. And then obviously it's not all going to be for me, so I will portion it out by eye based on what I want to have myself or what I need to have myself, and then I will spread out the portions then for the other members of the family, okay? So just to give an example, if it's for me, Mike and Ryan, and if I wanted to do the spaghetti bolognese in one big batch, I'm on, say, like 100 grams of mince and say 50 grams of pasta, okay? So I would multiply that by 4, okay? And then I would be able to, by eye, I could separate it into 4 portions once it's all cooked, and I can take my portion out of that. And then with the other 3 portions, I can just put them all together and serve them out by eye for Mike and Ryan. So that way Mike is getting a little bit more, and Ryan would normally have gotten, you know, less than me, but now he actually is eating more than me now as well. So you just have to kind of do by eye that way, okay? So just keep trying and keep trying to fine tune it every time, and every time you actually do this, you will fine tune it. You mightn't do it exactly as I'm doing it here. You might think I'm crazy for cooking different meals for 3 different family members, but I have fine-tuned that myself and for our family, so it works for us. So you have to find the ways that will work for you as well, and the only way you can do it is by actually doing it. So these are chilled enough, so I need to get them into a sieve. So the mange 2 and the sugar snaps are cooked here now as well, so I'm going to put these in, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the broccoli, cooling them down quickly so that they keep their colour. So all of this courgette is ready here now, which is perfect. So I have a massive amount of veg cooked here now, so I'm literally just going to take these off the heat. So I'm not going to dice all of the peppers, I'm going to keep some of them because obviously we're going to have, you know, different types of meals as well throughout the week. So I'm just going to cut these in strips, and how I'll cook these will be some of them might be used for a stir fry, or I will cook them in the air fryer. Okay, so these actually cook really well in the air fryer. They come out like roasted veg. You can add your oils to this then as well when cooking, and you can add whatever seasoning and spices that you like as well. Yeah, so I've had these for ages. I got them in Aldi and they're the proper hard ones. They are I think they're microwavable and they can go in the dishwasher as well, so these are really handy. And you can eat from them, so they're food grade containers obviously. And then you've got these lids here as well, and they're the proper hard lids, so these stack as well really well in the fridge. So I'm going to just start prepping more veg there now and just putting it into these containers. So I have these organic mushrooms, and have a tea towel laid out like this as well, just to make life easier for you. So once you wash the mushrooms, you need to dry them because they have a very high water content. So if I was to just wash these and then, you know, chop them and cook them straight away, there would be a massive amount of water in the frying pan. So we want to try and dry these as much as we can. But I'm not actually cooking these now straight away because I'm just chopping these, because these will be used for breakfast in the morning time and just kind of quick lunches and things like that, quick stir fries and stuff throughout the week. So like I don't cook and prep all of my meals for the whole week. I just do some of it so that my week doesn't feel too overwhelming then, and you know, we can have the majority of our meals are just cooked fresh on the go then as well. That's very important too, you know, to make sure that you're really enjoying the food as well. I find the types of meals that I do cook in advance now and I freeze are ones that I've tried and tested, and ones that I know actually freeze and reheat really well. So you can also just prep all your meals as well for 2 days, and your food will stay fresh in the fridge for 2 days. Like, you know, you don't have to cook all your meals and freeze them if you don't want to. I don't do that, but I do it with some of my meals, especially if I know I've got a busy week ahead, or if, you know, I've been slacking with meal prep and not hitting all my, you know, macro and calorie targets. It's just nice to just have that extra bit of control and just to make your life that little bit easier. So for these mushrooms, they're not going to be cooked now today, but they are going to be prepped. So I'm just going to chop them up small enough as if I was stir frying them, and then these can go into any kind of stir fry that we make, quick ones throughout the week with prawns or whatever, or into an omelette, or I have them as well just, you know, fried on the side with like fried eggs and a bagel. So now that I know these are going to be all chopped and ready to go in the fridge, it's just going to make things so much easier when it does come to making that meal. Doing this as well actually helps you to keep your kitchen clean throughout the week, because you're not getting everything out and prepping all of this veg every day, you know. So that's another plus. Like what I would normally do when I'm doing all of this as well is I would have earphones in and I'd be listening to a favourite podcast, and, you know, I just go into my own little world. Obviously, talking to you here now, I can't do that. So normally I think if you can, you know, listen to a podcast or even just listen to music or whatever, or if you had a telly in your kitchen, you know, throw the telly on and just kind of distract you from what you're doing, because cooking can actually, you know, be very therapeutic and you don't have to think too hard while you're doing it, unless you're creating, you know, like an amazing dish or something and you have to really focus. But this type of prep, you can just go into your own world while you're doing it. And if you can kind of pair this job with something that you actually like doing, like listening to a podcast, like this is just going to make, you know, prepping these meals now so much easier in the week. You could buy chopped. People might argue that you could just buy these chopped already or sliced, but I'd imagine they're a lot dearer. I've never bought anything pre-prepped before. So I think you're definitely better off doing this yourself. It's a lot cheaper. So I've wiped down the board and I've gotten a fresh tea towel, and I'm going to do tomatoes next. So the same as the mushrooms, these aren't going to be cooked today. These are just going to be prepped and in the fridge for the next few days. They are also going to be used for just quick stir fries, throw them in at the end, or in an omelette, or you know, just with fried eggs, whatever, all those kind of quick meals. My knife is blunt, but I'm actually bringing my knives over to my dad to get sharpened. So I asked him would he sharpen them. So my dad obviously is a chef his whole life, and he's brilliant at sharpening knives, and it's the one thing I'm not good at. So actually there's nothing worse than cooking or prepping without a good knife. So it is really important to, you know, have the proper things that you need. Like this knife is so blunt now, it's not even going through the tomatoes. So I have all my veg prep done now for practically the rest of the week. I have absolutely loads. So I have all the raw veg here. Like I said, we'll cook this throughout the week and over the next few days. And then I have our cooked veg here. So I have the broccoli, the normal one, tender stem broccoli as well, sugar snaps and mange too. So then I have the diced peppers, tomatoes, mushrooms, bigger pieces of pepper. So next up I'm cooking the potatoes, and I am on 150 grams per meal, and I have that for my dinner for my training day. So I'm training 4 days a week, so that's 4 by 150, which is 600. So I'm going to weigh out 600 grams of potatoes and I'm going to cook them. So this is the scales that I use. I got this I think in Aldi. It's just a digital food scales. So this is really handy. So I'm just going to weigh the potatoes here before I cook them. That's 600. Okay, so I'm going to chop these up now. So if you chop them up smaller, they'll cook a lot faster. And when you're doing a lot of meal prep, you want things to be quick. As I was saying, that I have my few meals that I like to freeze. Not that I like to freeze them, but I know that they're meals that freeze really well, and when I reheat them, they're absolutely perfect, and they don't seem like a reheated frozen meal at all. So my dinner that I eat on my training day is one of those meals that freezes really well. So I've tested this first and I'm very happy with it. So now I am cooking and prepping all of those meals because I can freeze them. So I'll keep 2 of them in the fridge, and then the other 2 for the other 2 training days will go in the freezer, because obviously I have a rest day in between. So that's all of my potatoes now for the week. So while they're steaming, I'm going to cook some more potatoes for Ryan and Mike, because it is always handy to have potatoes chopped and cooked in the fridge. If they're steamed, you can just throw them into the air fryer then for a different type of meal, or you can throw them into a frying pan and fry them, or just reheat them as they are. Okay, so it's really handy to do this. So the same for the veg as well. I don't weigh out any of my own veg at all, so veg isn't weighed and it's not tracked. I suppose it is tracked in a way. I eat a cup of veg with every meal, so I know that I'm getting enough fibre and that the veg is filling up my plate, but I don't weigh it or track it on my FitnessPal. Just because veg is very low in calories anyway, and it's really important to include it in every meal, or as many meals as you can. So if we were to start weighing that out now and tracking it for every little calorie, you would go insane. Okay, so next up is the meat. So I have the turkey and I have chicken. So my portions of meat at the moment are 120. Okay, this one's a bit better. This is a Victorinox blade. So once I get this sharpened, now this is a good knife. Once I get this sharpened, it'll be like a brand new knife. weigh out the portions here of 120 grams. Perfect. And I'm going to cook all of these together. I'm going to stir fry these. So I'm just going to do the same for the turkey. Then I will have all of those meals ready. So it's basically every training day dinner for the week. So I've got the turkey and the chicken frying here in the 1 cal oil. So again, this oil here, and I have salt and pepper and smoked paprika on them. Okay, so I'm actually just going to cover them with a lid. So I'm getting ready to plate up these 4 meals here now. So that all of this potato here is my potato for 4 days, so I can just easily portion them out. So you can see here, this is literally just taking a few minutes and it's practically cooked. So, and the same with the chicken here, and it stays nice and moist as well, so it doesn't dry out. And when you have the lid on it, you don't have to have it turned right up. You can have it, you know, medium heat, and it just cooks perfectly without drying out. So another way to not overcook your meat is to use a thermometer. Okay, so this is a probe one, so it sticks into the meat. So you want your meat to be 75 degrees. That's gone straight up there now, okay, so you know that's well cooked, so I can turn it off. I don't need to cook this anymore, okay? So I'm just going to clean that now. I'm going to do the chicken. So you make sure that you disinfect this in between use and before and after use. So I'm just going to try this here, see where we're at. Yeah, that's ready. And like, you'd put it into the biggest one as well, so you know then that it's all ready. Perfect, that's gone straight up to 80 quickly. If this was still if it was still reading at, like, you know, 60, 65 and it was kind of slow, then you know it's not ready, okay? So as soon as it goes straight up to 75 like that, you know your meat is ready and you can stop cooking it. So this prevents you from overcooking your meat. Okay, so it is time to start plating up the veg, and I've got plenty of veg now to choose from. So I'm just going to add a little bit of each, just for the variety. I've got a nice little variety here now of veg. So now I can add my meat. So again, I have it all weighed out, so I can just portion it out now by eye, and it just makes it so quick and easy. So here they are, my 4 training day dinners. So 2 of these are going to go in the fridge and 2 are going to go into the freezer. And now I have all of this cooked veg as well, put out into containers. So we will use some of this for our dinner now tonight. So this is going to be really handy over the next few days.